what about science? What should you do for science this year? Dare I say that you don't need a curriculum for science. You don't even need to follow, let's just say, your state standards. You can pretty much do whatever you want for science this year. So here's a radical thought. Ask your kids what they would like to learn this year in science and see what they say. Like, for instance, one year, my daughter, all she really wanted to learn about was horses. So that's what we learned about. It was like all equestrian that year. And then another year, she was really into marine biology. And so we spent the entire year learning about anything and everything that lives in the ocean. We learned about the ocean. We learned a whole lot about manatees because she really, really loved manatees. So just ask them what it is that they're interested in and that they would like to learn this year. The year after Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, where my family was from, my kids were really interested in natural disasters, especially hurricanes. So we spent the whole year learning about hurricanes. And of course, we live here in California, so we got into earthquakes and wildfires and stuff like that. And then there are just some years that all we do is nature studies because that's enough. You can do so much with nature studies and learning about God's creation and taking hikes and drawing in your nature journals and learning about the things that you're seeing along the way. So if I'm not using curriculum and I'm not really following my state standards for science, how am I teaching it to the kids? Well, first of all, we were real big on interest-led learning. So a lot of times I just let the kids go off on their own and just explore and look things up on their own and things like that. But for the most part, our curriculum was library books. So we went to the library all the time. Whatever the kids were interested in, I got tons of books on it. They got tons of books on it. And my son, he really loves YouTube and documentaries, and so we just watched an awful lot of YouTube videos about whatever it was that they were interested or we were learning about that year. It's science, so read, research, get messy, do experiments, invite friends over, and learn science together. You don't have to take a science class. You don't have to use a particular science curriculum, although there's some good ones out there. But really, all you need to do is ask your kids what they want to learn about, or just kind of people watch them and see what it is that they gravitate towards and what they're interested in, and decide that that's what you're going to learn this year for science. And don't forget about field trips. There are so many things and places that you can go to. And don't forget about games. You know how I love games. And talk about science games. There are so many science games out there, from astronomy. Did you know there's a Spaceopoly? Okay, so there's science games, there's animal games. We learned about the periodic table playing a game called Elemento. Yeah, there's chemistry games out there, there's nature games, there's scavenger hunt games. Guys, you name it. Anything that you want to learn about, there's probably a game or two or three that you can play. So this year for science, ditch the fancy and expensive curriculum. Just go ahead and learn whatever it is that your kids want to learn about through reading, through watching documentaries, going on field trips, and playing games. It's going to be a lot of fun.